every state party, if they feel that the vital interest has been going threatened by somebody, at that time we are going to review. There is no doubt about it. Because you see, please give me the photos of the innocent people. Our innocent people, all of them are being killing. We are responsible for these people. All of them. This one, Ehsan Eshraqi and Baran Eshraqi, father and girl. His daughter.
We have a...
excuse me, let me. Mahia Nikzad.
Sorry, Ambassador, we actually have a...
It's a very important, this is the innocent people and civilian. I am representative of these people in this country.
No, it's all right. So sorry, we have rules about props and not showing photographs and so on. I'm so sorry, and as I said at the outset, we're completely sympathetic to and think that the deaths of civilians on both sides is simply appalling, and want it to stop. And that's really what this hearing is about.
Thank you.
Can I move on to Blair?
Ambassador, you spoke with apparent passion at the beginning of your statement about how dangerous the world would be if we embolden aggression and don't act within international law. The Chair asked you for short questions, so I'll give you the opportunity to give a short answer. How many Iranian Shahed drones have been fired by Putin at Ukraine over the last 3 years?
You mean that how many drones?
How many Shahed drones, Iranian Shahed drones, have been fired by Putin at Ukraine over the last 3 years?
You see,
I'm just looking for a number.
I will reply to you. Yes, there is no doubt. You know, the Russian and Iranian defense cooperations originate more than 20 years ago.
You know the number?
No, I don't know.
I'll tell you the number. The number is 8,000. Okay, I put it to you that if we do live in a world now where violence and might are taking precedent over law and right, I would suggest that the Iranian regime has a deep responsibility for that. Let me ask you another question, and again, this is a question with a simple number as an answer. The Director General of MI5 identified a number of plots backed by Iran in this country, including lethal threats against Iranian dissidents and against Jewish communities here. How many plots had he identified in the last 3 years?
He claimed 22, but
yep.
Let me answer to you. Let me answer to you. First of all, this is very important. Please correct your wording that the Iranian government is a lawful and very important and significant and respectful government.
What's the legal,
there is no need to using the regime
Putin's
for
war?
them. Excuse me.
What's the legal basis for Putin's war then? If you are such a supporter of international law?
Let me. I'm telling to you correct your wording regarding for my government. My government is a legal government, and there is no doubt about it. But you should use the regime. It's a very lawful and legally responsible state in the world.
What's the legal basis for Putin's war in Ukraine?
Let me. I will answer you. Please,
you're a fan
please
of
let me
international
finish.
law.
You see, regarding for the Oregon Defense Cooperation that Iran and the Russian Federation, it's a very important, and we declare to the Russian side not to use our cooperation with the third party against the third party. You can ask them.
8,000 Shahed drones fired at Ukraine. We're not allowed to do props, but seeing as you did, there is one of your drones hitting an apartment block in Kyiv.
You can ask this question from the Russian Federation, sir.
They're your weapons.
You can ask this question. I'm asking this question from your side that using, or the American side that using the same military equipment against the Iranian people. You do not have any defense cooperation or military cooperation between Israel and Britain?
I'm suggesting.
No.
I'm suggesting.
Yes or no. Yes or no. Excellency.
You're
yes
here
or
to
no.
answer questions, Ambassador.
Oh, no, this is
I'm
very
suggesting
important.
your moral authority is shredded by your support for
If you ask me to answer you, Excellency, if you ask me to answer your question, there is your duty to answer my question, because this is the dialogue room. I came here to declare our concerns to the one responsible state, the United Kingdom. I respect the United Kingdom for his achievement to the human community. in the world.
I think,
and the United Kingdom is a member state of the Security Council of the United Nations. Why? Why don't you condemn the Israeli armed attack to Iran? You didn't condemn it.
Your Excellency,
and regarding for the plots,
Your Excellency, we're very
he asked me one question regarding for the MI5. May I ask you? May I answer?
No, wait.
Okay,
please. What I would like to do.
Okay, please.
If we could just take a breath.
Okay.
It is really, we are very grateful to you for coming.
Thank you.
And the evidence that you've given in the round is what's important. And it's the evidence that you give, and we listen to what it is that you say. And what we're trying to do by asking questions is to test what you're saying.
Thank you so much.
But we're not really in a position to speak on behalf of the British government. We are here to test your evidence, to try to make a contribution, which is so that we can hear the Iranian point of view, but not just take it at face value, but also to test it. And that is what we're trying to do in good faith. And I have a few people who still want to have questions. Perhaps I should go to Sir John first, and then I'll go on the other side.
Thank you. I'd just like to follow up Blair's question, Ambassador. You'll be aware that the British government has said that Iran represents one of the greatest threats to the security of the United Kingdom, and for that reason has been placed, the first nation to be placed on the enhanced tier of a foreign influence registration scheme. Now, you referred in your opening remark to the attack on the Iranian Broadcasting Organization, and you described that as a war crime. I've been to visit Iran International, which is based in London, whose journalists have been subjected to threats from Iran on a daily basis, where a journalist was stabbed in a London street, and where Iranian citizens are currently being accused of conducting that. I've also talked to BBC Persian journalists whose families are being daily harassed by the Iranian regime in Tehran. So why are those not war crimes, and how do you defend the behavior of the Iranian government?
I think this is an irrelevant question. I'm sorry, sir, because I'm telling you regarding for the Israeli aggression, but with your respect, I will respond to you. I do believe that regarding for these claims has been raised by different people, we need evidences. We need evidences. Several times we declared to the Foreign Office to have some consultation meetings with the military services regarding for the address all of these issues. These issues are some allegations and blaming against my country. Yes, we have some criticism regarding for the BBC Persian activities. They are going to making some, intervening of our Iranian domestic affairs. But according to our British bilateral diplomatic relations, we several times we suggested to British authority to consider in bilateral consultations. There is no doubt about it that if you have any evidences, please submit. We will consider it. But sometimes making some allegation and something with regarding after that, Excellency mentioned for the report of the MI5. Several times, more than 10 times, we declared by verbal note in diplomatic negotiation, please send we will send our security services to have this kind of, to resolve these matters raising in our bilateral relations. We have very, constructive, business-like diplomatic relations. Your ambassador, Mr. Hugo Schurter, is working in Tehran in your embassy, and I came to London after the vacancy of the 3 years. We do not have any ambassador, and I am very keen to provide and prepare different cooperation between Iran and United Kingdom. I'm assure you, sir, that Iranian side is ready to cooperate for everything. Cultural, economic, security, everything. According to your evidences that you have, or evidences, we can share it.
Ambassador, the statement by the Director General of the Security Service that there have been over 20 assassination and abduction plots, that has no the Iranian government has no responsibility for those. And you referred earlier to your support for freedom of the press in terms of the Iranian Broadcasting Corporation. So whilst you may have criticisms of the BBC Persian service, there has been no harassment or intimidation of their relatives, and you have not, the government of Iran is not responsible for any threats against Iranian journalists based in London working for Iran International. Is that the case?
I told you, Your Excellency, I told you that these matters should be considered. Should be considered between the expertise groups. This is some claims. Please, no, there is no doubt that the Iranian side is ready to cooperate with the British side to consider and remove this kind of misunderstandings.
Alex.
Ambassador, you talked at the start in your statement about Israel attacking civilian nuclear facilities across Iran. I understand from wide reporting that Iran has been enriching uranium up to 60% in a large quantity and now up to 80 or 90%, in both cases, in fact, there is no civilian purpose for this uranium. It can only be moving towards the development of a nuclear weapon. What justification is Iran giving for enriching this uranium, for moving beyond any civilian needs?
You see that, first of all, that all of this enrichment has been declared to this AEI. Now, during our war with the Israeli regime, there are some IAEA inspectors in Natanz, in other nuclear facilities in Iran. They are monitoring all of our nuclear activities, including the enrichment. And so, according to the expertise, according to the different people who are professional, they're professional in the nuclear matters, that this kind of enrichments only for peaceful activities. That's it. We do not have any aim. And
what are these peaceful activities? Because of course,
regarding
3%.
Yeah, you can ask this question from the different experts people, technical people. Yeah, I'm telling to you. I learned these matters from them. And according to their explanation, all of these matters has been monitored by the IAEA. There are some ambiguities that we declare to the IAEA that we are ready to remove any ambiguities. There is no any intention from our side going to enrich to the level of the nuclear bomb. But unfortunately, politically motivated activities of the E3 in the recent session of the Board of Governors of IAEA make another mistake that Israeli regime used this pretext to attack us. But yes, regarding your question, I'm telling you, every activities of the Iranian Atomic Energy Organization are peacefully. There is no. You can ask the sophisticated questions with the experts.
I don't want to interrupt, but I just want to put context in so that the public understand. The International Atomic Energy Agency's Board of Governors on the 13th of June formally declared Iran in breach of its non-proliferation obligations for the first time in 20 years. And I think that's the reference that you're making to politically motivated attacks. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think the belief of many of us in here that there is no civilian justification for the enrichment of uranium up to the point that you've suggested, and it does put credence to the fact that Iran is developing a nuclear weapon and is a threshold state almost. And you can understand why a country such as Israel that has been threatened so many times by Iran would find that as an extremely serious security threat.
You see that I think that if you have any problems, any differences between Iran and IAEA, all of the matters should be addressed through the diplomacy and according to the technical consultations, not giving the pretext for the one illegal and legitimate regime like Israel to attack us.
Thanks, mate, because we're running out of time. Do you mind if I
finally,
just...
please do.
I just want to get, I think Edward had another question, and I think Dan had one too.
I just wanted to follow up on Alex's point, Ambassador, which I think there's a sort of realpolitik element to this, which is that Iran wants there to be a ceasefire before there's a negotiation. The position of Israel and the United States is that Iran needs to give up its enrichment program and return at the very least to a civilian level. Given that Iran has effectively lost control of its airspace, given that the IDF can act with impunity across Iran, your proxies are refusing to respond to Israel's attack, you are rapidly running out of ballistic missiles to respond to Israel attacks. I mean, the reality on the ground would dictate that Iran has very little scope but to enter the negotiation table and to make. Why won't Iran, if it has no nuclear weapon ambition, just say that the price of the ceasefire that you're willing to pay is to give up your nuclear enrichment program?
You see, the main problem that regarding in this phase, removing the main intention from our side, removing any concern, any worries from the different countries in international community, especially the European countries, that for Iranian, the essence of the Iranian nuclear activities. We assure you that there is no any limitation from our side to remove any concerns. We declared this is our priority. We declared this is our priority to remove any misunderstanding. We do not want to achieve nuclear weapon. We have, during the 15 reports of the IEA, during the implementation of the JCPOA, we declare, we show our intention. We showed our intention that Iran has not any desire to produce the nuclear bomb. This is because these are responsible member states of the NPT, and as well as
the reality on the ground dictates that in
the reality of the ground is the inspector of the IEA. IEA has a very different interaction with us.
Is going to be giving up your nuclear enrichment. That's the obvious situation on the ground right now. So my question is, why won't Iran simply commit, if you have no nuclear ambitions, simply commit to ceasing enrichment, hand over what has been enriched, and go back to 3.6% civilian? That would be
there is no doubt that we agree with you. But through the diplomacy, not arm attacked.
The other thing which I think many people may wonder about is, and I think it is this point about Iran may be very close to being able to build a nuclear bomb.
Why?
Because the IEA has said that you've breached it, and because of the amount of because the nuclear material is becoming so pure and is much more pure than is needed. But I think the counter argument, which people do need to hear, and I think is something that that needs to be expressed here today, is that if Iran has been a few months close to being able to build something, and still hasn't over a period of many years. So Edward's question is, if it's true that you don't intend to go any further, first of all, why do you have material of such purity? And secondly, if you don't intend to use it, the price may be for peace to go back to the 3.6% that you'd need just to be able to use it for civilian purposes. And that, we hope, would mean that civilians would stop being killed on both sides.
All of our nuclear activities are purely peaceful, and all of them are monitored by IEA. There was some ambiguities raised by the non-implementation of the JCPOA by the European and American side. It makes a problem for us that we did all of the obligations through the Safeguard Park Agreement and as well as the statute of the IEA. Yeah. And please accept our assurances that the Iranian side, in the Iranian system, there is no desire, there is no any intention to produce the nuclear bomb. It is very important. it's not only for international obligation. This is our religious teachings that all of the mass destruction weapon are prohibited according to the Shia, Sharia, and Islamic.
There's a fatwa to that.
Yes,
to that.
there's a fatwa of our
obviously
supreme
a
leader.
fatwa can be changed, I suppose, would be the counter argument. But may I just go to the last question? And I'm going to ask Dan Carden.
I think we might be interrupted by bells, but I'll have a go.
Try.
Welcome, Ambassador. It strikes me that any attempt to get to a diplomatic outcome is going to require trust on all sides, and trust is something that the Iranian regime simply doesn't have. And you talked in your opening remarks about international law, you talked about the loss of civilian life, and I wanted to ask you about reports that the Iranian regime itself has widespread...
Iranian government.
Regime has
Iranian government, please.
Has murdered over 1,000 of its citizens in 2024. And I wanted to ask you, do you know how many of your own citizens the Iranian regime has murdered this year in 2025?
You see, there is a very, very, I'm sorry, Excellency, there is a very dangerous and mystic assumption in your question. Your question is not correct.
The UN figures.
Yes, let me. I'm telling to you as an Iranian ambassador to you, why are you referring to the other, misunderstanding, misinformation, disinformations? This is all of them totally wrong. I'm telling to you this. I'm telling to you, nobody perfect, but we do have some problems. But this kind of question has their own false assumption and based on misunderstanding and misperceptions. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. And my apologies. We have to go and vote. But I do want to thank you for coming in this afternoon. I hope that people watching have had a proper insight into your perspective. And I hope that those watching have also seen us challenge some of the things that you've said, but hopefully it will amount to greater understanding between us, and we do hope that there will be peace in the near future and there will be de-escalation of this conflict.
I'm very thankful for you, Madam Thornberry, for your invitation and give me this chance to, review my, to declare my point of views to you. I'm all of this distinguished pupils here. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.